I want to take some time to clear up some misinformation that's out there on the internet and that's being provided by a lot of garden shop owners and experienced gardeners out there. And that is that indoor gardening, specifically growing of vegetables, tomatoes and peppers, eggplants, and so on, are not really feasible unless you purchase very expensive equipment. I'm here to show you that that is not the case, and that it's just a question of you doing your research, finding out what technology is out there, and finding the cheapest way to get it. And as you can see here, this is my little indoor garden. Now I have this in my kitchen. As you can see, it's just a little 4x4 tent, 7 feet tall. And I found the tent brand new on Craigslist for $80. The light, which is not a high-powered sodium or high-pressure sodium or any of the really powerful lights that produce a lot of heat as a byproduct. These are fluorescent lights. Hopefully you can see that right there. It's not very clear, but you can see it. It's a T5 high output, 54 watt bulbs, in total 325 watts. And as you can see, full spectrum. And that is all these plants have lived on. No outside water, nothing like, no outside sunlight, anything like that. It's all artificial. And just look at the growth on this. You know, there are a lot of people that say that fluorescent is good for vegetative growth. That's why they recommend it for indoor lettuces and things like that. Yes, this is very true. They do very well with lettuces. I've harvested quite a number of Little Gem and Boston leaf lettuces from this specific setup. But as you can see, if you look very closely, these plants have an abundance of clusters of tomatoes on them. And it just keeps going, and it just keeps flowering. I don't know how well you can see that, but they are just everywhere. I can't even get at most of them. And you can see the flowers. There's more flowers. They come in every day, and they come in nice intervals as well. So by the time these are getting ready to ripen, you can see some of them ripening in the background already. And you know, they're just all over the place. Some more flowers there. Yeah, they seem to come in a nice steady pace so as they can be harvested while still regenerating the amount of fruit that's on it, which is good for me, just being one person. So that's proof right there that you can grow tomatoes. And I've also grown bigger tomatoes, ones that probably span out, not beef eaters, but 2-3 inches in diameter, which is fairly decent size. You know, if you're making sandwiches or for dicing up for a stir fry or scrambled eggs, things like that, it works out just fine. I've also been able to grow onions. You can see them kind of in the background there. That's a new planting there. Just planted on the 15th, I believe. And or no, maybe it was the 10th. And you probably can't see it, but they're just starting to come in there. I've already had a harvest of the bunching onions. They were decent. Lots of flavor. I didn't leave them until they were fully developed, so there wasn't a lot of flavor in the bulb, not as much as there could have been, but the lots of flavor in the shoots that come up, which is nice. You'll see that the cucumber in the background, that was planted on October 30th, and I've already had one harvest from that plant, and then I ended up cutting it back after that harvest to see if it would bush out more and throw out some side shoots, which it has done. So I'm hoping in another month or two I'll be harvesting a second crop from the same plant. Snap peas there, again, second time growing those. I've already grown one plant and harvested them and thrown the plant out, so that's its replacement there. You'll see up here I've got eggplant growing, and this is something I have never really been fond of as a fruit, but these actually aren't really that bad. It's actually made me a fan of eggplant. They're very tender, very sweet, which is it's nice in anything, in a stir fry, just by eating them raw by themselves. Then over here, a little mini bell pepper plant. I've been harvesting those slowly, so there's not as many left as there was, but there was probably, I'd say 30 to 35 peppers on there at first when it first started. Not as good on replenishing the pepper supply as the tomato plants, but you can see it does attempt to do so by spitting out more flowers as you pop off some of the fruit that's already ripened. Lots of flowers, including fruit, on the eggplant. And these leaves are just massive, people. Like, if you can see my hand, it's the size of my hand. So this is no small plant, and it's done really well under these lights. And these are all, as I said, all just the T5 high outputs. In terms of soil, or in terms of the medium, I'm just using regular soil, the Miracle-Gro Moisture Control. For nutrients, I basically use compost tea from my compost out back, which I can show you here. So I compost all my stuff and then cook it in the oven before bringing it in the house, because you want to sanitize it, kill any of the bugs or pests that are in it. So you do that. I do it at 180 for about 45 minutes or so. It does dry it out quite a bit, but I mean, you're going to be adding it to the water and making compost out of it, or compost tea, so I don't think it kills too much of the nutrients. But I mean, you guys can be the judge for yourself. With that, I also add to the compost tea boiled water from the vegetables, or from the water that I boiled my vegetables in for dinner the night before. So it's kind of reusing the nutrients that seeps out of those vegetables and makes it available to these plants. So not too bad. And you can see there's a bit of extra space in there now. Reason being is one of the plants that I had, it was starting to show some signs of disease. So I pulled it out. I did bring it back into the house just for this, for the purposes of this video, just to kind of show you the size of this one. Now, this has been outside for probably about 4 or 5 days now. So don't pay any attention to the wilting leaves or anything like that, because, I mean, it's cold outside. It's mid-February. Temperatures at night drop to about +1, and sometimes drop into 0. So